Doing any work yesterday because we got snow. We got like 4 inches of snow, but we're gonna get into this. So my plan now, I wish I worked in the shop. My plan is to take off the axles with the wheels all as one, so I don't have to mess with anything. And then I just got a few lines, 2 lines to disconnect, I guess, 3 lines to disconnect, and the bolts that hold the transmission. Transmission's gonna come out, and then we're gonna get it back into the shop, and we're gonna switch over that top shaft. So that's the plan. I'm working by myself, and it's a little chilly. Plus daylight savings happened, so that's gonna make days even shorter. Plan is to get this apart, get it back together, and get into some tillage work in the next week or 10 days, haul some manure. So in the meantime, 4230 also got new rims, so let's check those out. We've had these rims for quite a long time. The tire guys told us that these rims, they're all rusted from running calcium in it, were like 2 years ago, they weren't gonna last another week. So we ordered some rims, and then the tires kept going and going and going. But as you see, they were shot. So you agree they were shot? So we got new ones on the 4230. Since everybody keeps asking me, the truck is deleted. It's got a CP3 conversion in it. It's got Danville 68 turbo in it, more fuel, tune, trans from Limitless Performance. A lot of time and money in it, but we'll get it started up and moved over so that we can slide it in and take these axles right off. Wasn't even cold. I'm really over winter. It's only been 1 day. So they're saying we're supposed to get into the 50s, a day of 70. So I'm really hoping that's the case. Cause yeah, I still got a lot of manure to haul. I looked at the tank, it's 2/3 full right now. So that's gonna keep me busy for a few days. Never mind tillage work to go with it. So what I got to do before that is fix the tractor. And on the white truck, I got a tire that's going flat. Keeps losing air on the front steer, one of the new tires. So the rim's probably a little rusty. I don't know which set of forks I want. And then I also have a 1-inch block to put in the white truck in the front to level it out so the floater doesn't rub when you get on an aggressive incline against the box, the control box. But then once I get those 2 projects done, it's right into manure hauling. So I was thinking I had 250, 300,000 gallons. Now I'm thinking I'm more than that. There's some person turning around. I'm over 300,000, so here we go. So got the tires on that because I needed the jacks out of it. So I took out all the bolts except for 2 up here at the top that hold the axles on. Loader's gonna come in, pick up underneath. I'll chain the top of it just so it has something to hold it with. Take these 2 bolts off. He's gonna back out, do the same thing on the other side, and then it's just, I don't know, 10 bolts 12 bolts outside and 3 inside, and the whole transmission is going to come backwards, and a few lines. So most of the stuff in this is junk. That's why I didn't put the rocker housing back on. So I'll keep it around for spare parts, but like it grenaded a lot of stuff. So if you guys haven't looked, the pin came out and broke that off, and Mark's not listening. So we got it out, got both of them sitting over there. My plan is hopefully get this cranked out pretty quickly so that they don't sit over there, so that no moisture. It's not supposed to rain for a while. But, so this is the brakes of it. And as you see, I put new brakes on when we had this apart. It's a sore subject that it broke again on me. So tranny's cursed, so that's why I got a new one. Got a different one. But put new brake pads on that, so that's all good. Got to take this the brake disc out. Got to take these off just so it doesn't fall. Pull this stuff out of the way. These lines are disconnected. I just got to disconnect that, disconnect this stuff here, which feeds. I guess I haven't actually taken that cover apart. So when I took everything else apart, I thought it was open for some reason. And then I got the bolts on the outside, one on the bottom, or 2 on the bottom, and this will slide right out. So that's the plan for today. This is going to get in the shop so I can take it apart probably tonight, get that top shaft out and get it into the other one. Got this side, all the bolts off. I do have to take that cover off because there's 2 bolts inside of there. And then I got to get this side off, but what I'm going to do first, and it's always nicer to do when the tractor's running and you can turn it, but the fact that I had no hydraulics makes it a little more challenging. So I'm going to slip my way in here. Turn my light on for you. So there is 2 bolts in here. That bolt right there, and that bolt right there, and then there's 1 bolt that is behind over here that you got to sneak a wrench into. Yeah, I do see that one is leaking, so got to sneak into those, and you can see it from right here. So it's that one right in there. You can see just the top of the head, and those 3 go in. They gave me a lot of trouble. So if you ever have 7520 or you know somebody and they're splitting it, remind them, since I told Randy Griffin when I talked to him about purchasing the one that I got from him, I said, when you split it, there's 3 bolts. Otherwise it's a guessing game unless you have that knowledge. And there's like 6 bolts that go all the way through or go into the drop box here, but only 3 of them are used. Well, there it is. Transmission's out. Always a little nerve-wracking. You don't want to drop it. You don't want it to come out too low, too high. You don't want the tractor to fall off, nothing. But this is out. Gotta clean up some of this metal mess that came from the rear end. That goes back in there. But now I gotta get that in the shop. They're gonna finish putting on step bars on Father's new pickup. I'm gonna clean up some of my mess. It's starting to drizzle, so I gotta get in all this stuff. Got it all apart. So the gears on the bottom shaft are all good, but let's spin this around. I guess it won't let me spin it around. It's in park. Hold on. There we go. So there you have it, people. This is what happens when the pin comes out. Let me get some light so you can see what's going on. If you can see right there, there is a chunk missing out of that. So yeah, that was a good time. So I spent a lot of money on this transmission over the last year, and every time it was a different issue. So it wasn't like I put it back together and then it blew up, something else blew up. Every time. And the big downside was that oil line that went down there that feeds that bottom shaft. That was expensive. Put it back together. And then the pin that goes right here, that goes through, that came apart, blew everything apart, snapped everything, destroyed that. So yeah, but got them out. I really want to take this one apart to see how bad that is. Just see, like, if I'm in a really good boat that I have 2 upper shafts. Or it's not the counter shafts. 2 upper shafts, yeah. So we're probably going to do that just to see. Made the executive decision after like 30 minutes of heating that, trying to get it to move. Broke one of the chisels. I cut it in half, so we're gonna let it cool down. That part right there costs $153 from Tractor ASAP and some other places. I think Worthington Ag and whatnot. So I'm not as worried, but that's where stuff can start getting expensive. Like you get that gear, that. That's where this shaft can end up being a few grand, 3-4 grand. Depends how in depth. There's a piece inside that is very expensive, so I'm hoping that's still good, and I'll just get a new one of that. I heated it to the point where I wasn't happy with it any longer, so yeah. Ooh, that is warm still. Ooh. So got a little bit of stuff, slag, whatever you want to call it. Got to get that keyway out of there. So there's a keyway that holds that, and then there's another keyway. There, that's actually coming out. There we go. Little keyway. At least that came out nice and good. So then you got this ring that you pop off. which can be a pain, especially if you don't have the right tools. See how this is working? Right tools is the key. I've done this before though. I did this before I knew anything about any of this. Well, that came out. So then, this should come out. Oh. That is warm. So we're gonna let that cool down before I explain exactly what goes on, because that is hot. Got it all pulled apart. It cooled down some. So what's going on here? These are plates that go in between clutch plates. So that's a clutch plate that's extremely worn. Got all sorts of stuff missing. That is a clutch plate that has nothing left to it, and it's smoked. There's stuff bent. So the whole reason it wasn't moving properly, that's bent right there. So these go in between each clutch plate. Here's another clutch plate, as you see, bent. So that's why it's not moving. So that was the biggest reason why it wasn't moving. Not at all what I expected. This goes like this. There's one more clutch plate. And then all these sit in here and go inside of there. That's still warm. But usually what the deal is with these, in my past experiences, in here, this is your whole synchronizer. That's an expensive piece of item. That's expensive. These are expensive. All of this adds up really quickly. So usually the balls are blown out of this. So there's 4 balls that sit inside, and it actually allows it to move and rock. And I guess it's not as cool as I thought. Cooled down as I thought. But this shifts back and forth, so that right there, the whole, I'm trying to think what that would be called. I'll drop a comment what it is. Shift fork, the whole housing, it moves back and forth and tells it either go in one speed or another speed, and that's based on which one it locks in here. So that locks into that, then turns the actual gear, which then turns a gear on the counter shaft that then actually drives the lower shaft. So it's not as bad as I thought. I found 2 of those plates, but I don't have any clutch plates. So what I'm gonna end up doing at some point, I'm gonna throw mine in that I know is good. I'm gonna rebuild this and have it on a shelf. So if I ever have an issue, I can pull it out and swap it in. So if we'll get the pieces that I had to cut out, new snap rings, everything else like that. But that is my plan. I'll rebuild the other side, so we got to pull all that out. Putting that together is a challenge, an absolute challenge. So those little balls that go inside, they have springs behind them. I have a bunch of them because when I first did it, I'd put them in, and then all of a sudden you'd move it one way, and there goes the ball, and it's gone. And you hear ting, you're looking around, and it's gone. So that's a challenge, especially by yourself when you're trying to line everything up. Well, got it all taped up, and the key to taping it up is so that this doesn't fall apart, which means then all your clutch plates, chance that those balls pop out, stuff falls out of the grooves, and your day becomes a headache. So trust me, you don't want that. Yeah, I could pull out the impact gun, but it's always nicer to put things back together and not use extreme force. All this got to be torqued. We're just going to get most of it in, get it tight, get it close to it. I'm pretty pleased at this transmission, so I'm going to have to give Randy a call and thank him for this opportunity because it was a good deal. Really, really good deal. And it was an awesome adventure. So I sure hope if you're watching this video, you've watched all the Midwest adventure videos, such as picking this transmission up and going to Sloan, becoming a combine operator, all the cool stuff. So it's all in. Well, what we can do right now, I can put the new pins in that, in both the shift forks, but I'm getting tired, and this dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock is not my thing. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm gonna leave most of this, what I got left, for tomorrow if I get into here. I should, now that I'm inside. I think it's gonna rain all night, even though I thought it wasn't gonna rain for some reason. But really appreciate you guys watching. I think Yanko's ready to go home and have dinner, so I'm gonna jet on out of here. Gotta shut some lights off while we're at it. So appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't done so, drop a comment. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what you like seeing. I do try my best, read through all the comments, respond to all of them. So I enjoy some of the comments, some of the people, interactive stories, things like that. So really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video.